Hello, everyone. It is hour 8 of my 24-hour um, fundraising challenge, where I have a guest every hour on the hour from midnight. So I'm at number 8 right now. I have with me Silvia, wonderful Silvia, and we are going to be talking about burnout and what this campaign is. Sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Is to raise visibility for Samaritans, which is an organization that I volunteer for, and where things like mental health and just having a space to talk about some of the challenges that we go through in life is so important, because when you have that space, then it doesn't get so intense and so lonely and isolating that makes you feel like there's only one option out of the pain that you're feeling. So yes, we do support our callers who are feeling suicidal, but by talking about mental health in the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is burnout. We hope that, it doesn't get to that stage for a lot of people. So, hello, Silvia. Hi.
Hello.
Yes, we were talking about burnout some time ago. Do you want to just talk me through, what you went through and how you've been feeling?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm Silvia Denaro, and I normally live in London, but at the moment I'm in super hot Sicily in my old family home. So I actually I was surprised when you asked me to talk about burnout because I thought, oh my gosh, this means that it was really that visible. I must have talked to you about this a lot for you to remember, so which was quite surprising to me. So what I experienced, well, I didn't know that I had burnout, and I was doing all the right things. I exercise, I eat well, I sleep, I spend time with my family, I switch off my phone and put it on the side. I don't work too much outside of normal working hours. So for me, when I started feeling that things were not great, I didn't obviously I didn't think it was burnout. I thought, well, it's just one of those very hard periods that you plow through, and then at some point, it's just things are going to get better. But it wasn't like that. And then I realized actually, so I have a job, I've got 3 children, I volunteer, I have a very busy life, and normally I don't juggle everything the perfect way, but I can get things done. And at some point, I just couldn't. I was exhausted. I felt I was drowning. I really felt I was seeing myself as underwater with the air on top of the water, and I just couldn't get to that. And I remember the moment, there was one moment on a Monday morning when I realized this is more than just a hard period. Is when it was actually a weekend, and so I didn't even have to work. But the idea of getting out of bed, having breakfast, and perhaps put a load of washing on. I thought I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I wouldn't know. I don't know how to do all these things. I don't know how to eat. I don't know how to put the washing on. I don't know. I just want to be here and just not do anything. So this is how we started.
So, I mean, you said you did all the things right. What do you think? What happened?
So I think that what happened, and I may not be right, but I think that it was definitely triggered by a situation of work, and I knew what the solution was. I knew that the solution I needed more capacity in my team. That's what I needed. So basically, I had the point where I was doing too many things because there was lack of capacity in my team. But on the other hand, you're also, because I am in a senior leadership position, you can't dump things on your team. You don't want them to be burnt out. Feel that I have that responsibility towards them in the same way as my boss had that responsibility towards me. So you're trying to protect them, but they could see that things were not right. And you just end up not doing things properly, which make things even worse. It's also is that you feel that you're a hamster on a wheel and there's no way out. So yeah, it's Monday morning will come. Monday morning was worst, and so Monday morning will come, and I would just cry and cry and cry because, and I was thinking, I tell you what was shocking for me is that there was a part of my brain that was saying, "What are you doing? Like, come on, you can do this," but then my body would not respond. So on the back of my head, I knew what I could do differently, but completely disjointed to my body. My body would just be that hamster on the wheel, and I just couldn't get the two of them to connect until obviously something changed. And for me, that something changed was um, I mean, I started so embarrassing. I started just bursting into tears into work meetings and for nothing, absolutely nothing. Everything was fine, and I would just not bursting, but I would just have tears. Like, what the hell am I doing? And I remember my boss. She called me out into a meeting separately and said, "You're gonna take next week off." I said, "No, I'm not. No, you are. You have like, you have got no choice." And at the beginning, I felt, oh my gosh, like how oh, I know what to do. No, I didn't. And taking those days off, completely off. Well, not completely off, but being forced to do something, and the fact that it then became so visible outside of my own bubble, that is what triggered something in me. And what I know now is that you can't get out of burnout on your own, which is what I wanted to do. And I was, yeah, I'm very lucky because I got a very supportive husband, and but he didn't know also how to help me to start with, and I think what helped me a lot is exactly what you've been talking about with some of your guests before me, which is that he was there to listen, just to let me get everything out. And then even just being able to get all that out was say, okay, now I already feel better. And little by little. I can see that some people are putting some comments in the
Yeah.
chat. How
That,
did you feel head bodies connect before the burnout? I didn't. I never. I've always felt. So the question is whether I felt head bodies connect before the burnout. Absolutely not. Of course, I'm a strong, independent woman running lots of things, and I know what I'm doing. This is why it was so shocking to me because I couldn't understand what was happening. It's like, how it's still me, but I'm looking at me from the outside. And the little things, as I said, putting the washing on, putting a load of washing on, is that difficult? No. It felt like Mount Everest. I can't do it. I really can't do it, but I had to do it. So the message for me is that you can't do this on your own. And I think, though, I got some very good advice for somebody because I think while it's in the, if you have a support network, family, friends, where you can just let it go, I think that is the place where you can let it go, cry your eyes out, scream, and say everything that you are experiencing. But at work, I don't think you can. At work, I think you have to speak up, absolutely. But perhaps you have to approach it. So if I could be my old self, I would go and say, okay, what's not working? That how we can make things better because clearly they are not working. And but I didn't. And now, as I'm also a lot more conscious about making sure that I can see burnout in my team. And I had an instance where I could see a member of my team starting to go through the same. And that's when I said, okay, it's my responsibility to tell you, stop. Let's like, I did what my boss said, get away. Work is going to be, it's going to be there, even if you are not there for a few days. The reality is that you are completely replaceable at work. Yes, if you are a very good employee, and I really would like to think I put my heart and soul in my job, and But after a while, they can replace you. That just things are just gonna happen. But you're not replaceable at home, and that's where when I started, when I saw my kids suffering from this, I was like, what am I doing? But of course, I didn't want to do it. So I think, as I said, I was doing all the right things. So I didn't do, in terms of doing things, I didn't do anything different apart from opening up a bit more, asking for help, and being more open to receive that help. And I remember my husband saying, "You're not letting me help you." So I know, now I know. But and the other thing for me was that every time I was getting out of that, a wave will come and knock me out again. So every time I was doing a few steps forward, something will come back, and I was uh, uh, I was back to square one. But I then realized it's not something that I could fix straight away. It's a very slow process, and the change had to happen here in my head before happening everywhere else, and is a domino effect in everything else. Do you think this is useful?
Yeah, you said that. What's the change that needs to happen in your head?
So I had to admit, understand, I had to admit to myself, I have burnout. And it's only when somebody tells you, actually, I got told you have burnout. I was like, oh, do I? Okay. It's almost, because you think, no, come on, it's not me. It's like with everything, whether, I don't know, whether you're tired, no, I'm not tired, or you're sick, no, I'm not sick, absolutely, I'm not, of course not. But then at some point, why you are? And that is when we work in technology. It was like my equivalent of seeing data. I was like, this is it, slap in my face, you got burnout. I was like, oh, okay, then maybe I have to do something about it. It's not just going to go away and I wait here, it's going to go away.
So, can you describe, like, just be more, apart from, not wanting to get up and put the washing on? Like, can you just describe it a little bit more to differentiate it from just having a bleh day, which we all have?
It was the consistency of it, is the fact that
Mm.
I consistently didn't want to, found it difficult to join a meeting, consistently stared on my screen and saying, I need to write this paper, but I just can't. I know what I want to write, but I just can't get my head to do it. So it was the fact that it was not going away. So I've had periods where you're exhausted and you think, oh, I just need a holiday, and that was beyond that. And I mean, I don't know whether there is any relationship to the fact that, as you know, a few months before I had spine surgery, and so I had to take some time off work. It's not the most pleasant of situations, but everything went well. But I probably didn't realize how much that also had been building, all that stress of the surgery, and seeing that things were building up at work while I wasn't there and having to pick them up at some point. So it's when things don't go away, I'm like, oh, okay, this is here to stay, and I didn't want it to stay.
Mm. So
Uh,
there's
Sorry.
there's a there's a comment from
Yeah,
Vasanthi about this exactly.
yeah, it's exactly that. It's things were just adding up, and nothing was going down. So that okay, not sure, but it's feeling so powerless. I want to be in control, and I wasn't. So yes, it was exactly because the load was adding.
So it sounds like actually this is all work, then work made.
It is. I think it definitely came from work, but also is. So as I said, I've got three children, and they all need me. My husband need me, I hope, and I wanted to be. I want to be there for them, and I want to do things. But things like I can't. I forgot to take my daughter to swimming, and then she comes to me and she's very disappointed that I didn't take her to swimming. And it's like all these things is like I'm missing it. I'm completely lost the plot, completely. I've got a question about whether I can now able to spot the signs 100%, 100%, and I can't tell whether it's not going to happen again, It may be happening again. I don't know. But I can tell you that in the last few months since the big episode happened, I have been able to just stop a bit sooner and say, okay, I can't get to where I was, so I need to do something now. I had to make that shift now because I can't let it happen again. So for now, I think it's helped me. But what I would like to make sure is that if you're listening to this, that you don't have to go through that first phase like I did. Maybe you can spot the signs sooner, and you can tell yourself sooner, perhaps I should do something. Perhaps I should talk to somebody. Perhaps, and I remember a conversation where I said to my husband, I'm burnout. I think that's what and it was like, okay, what do we? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. We've never been through this. So, but just accepting it was a huge step forward for me.
Hmm. I think it's your example of not wanting to do the kind of things that you used to be able to do.
Yes,
Um, I think for me, it was not finding joy in stuff again.
yes,
So,
yeah,
for me, it was like, I was working on my book, and that took a lot more out of me. I usually, and I did a lot of doodles for the book. I did 1632 cartoons for, so two cartoons per chapter, 16 chapters is 32. So after that, and also it coincided with, for me, lots of conferences. I'd been to a lot of dreaming events, and various conferences, culminating in the one in the crazy 2 weeks in June for the London meetup conferences and everything. And um, I usually like to, I observe something, I'd like to kind of like draw it out to like express it. I just sat there and I thought, I don't want to do this.
mm,
I don't want to open my laptop. I don't want to read. My regular stuff that I like to watch, I didn't want to watch it. But I didn't know what I wanted to
yeah.
do instead. I just didn't want to do the things that I used to enjoy. Like,
Exactly, exactly, and this is and it's scary, You think, but I used to love these things. What does it mean? Did I have I lost the joy of doing the things that I love completely? No, I surely said no. I can't be because I know that I love this, but why can't I love it right now? And we have a questions about guilt. Oh gosh, so much guilt towards guilt towards work, guilt towards my colleagues, guilt towards my family, guilt towards my husband. Why did my husband to go through that? Why, like, he hasn't done anything, so why does he have to do this? And why does he have to look after me when I felt that I also had to look after. We have to look after each other and look after our kids, absolutely. And you feel that the less that you do, the more you have to catch up, the
mm,
more you're missing out, and he's like, I'm going to be completely out of it. I will not know what's going on. And it's not like that. Obviously, things go a lot slower in reality than they go in your head, in my opinion. And are you feeling better, Pay?
um, it's an interesting question. I'm not quite out of it because I've got some other things that's just come on my plate right now, on a personal level, and I'm wondering what you're saying is, whether you need help to kind of like get out. So right now I'm in that mode of, okay, and also, my boys just went through GCSEs, and my daughters are having some stuff that's happened at school. So lots of things are happening for
Yeah.
me, and I'm thinking, oh, do I need to kind of look after them before I look after myself and my work and, what I'm going through? So that's a lot of that. But I'm thankful that it is summer, which
Yes.
means that I can pause, and everyone's pausing right now. So I'm just kind of like taking the time, to process, and then I decide to do this 24-hour thing. So I need to get over this thing first, and then evaluate, kind of after that. I'm wondering, because you mentioned also that your children have kind of like seen you going through it. Is this something that you've talked about with them, Echo?
I'm trying. I mean, you try not to, but actually you end up, and I think is I felt you are as I said that I need to look after you. You can't be looking after me. And like hearing my husband say, "Oh, don't leave mommy like sleep or leave mom or let's do something together." And you're like, "No, I should be doing that." But I maybe and my parenting is different from others. I'm not sure, but I actually think is. I wanted to. I remember talking to my daughter and saying, "This is fine. It's not going to be like this forever. I just need to get through this." But it's also I wanted to give her the example of that things can happen, but you can overcome them without trying to say, okay, you don't have to do anything, you've done nothing wrong. Yeah, and but equally they felt that they were doing something wrong because perhaps I was so
Oh,
short-tempered, because I was like, oh, the shoes are not in the right place, or come down for dinner, or go and have a shower. And he's like, oh, can you go and have a shower? Because you're
mm,
just so it's like, I can't you just want to get things done, because the more things are done, the more you feel that the more checklist checkbox you tick. But it's not true because the checklist is endless. The reality
mm.
as parents at work, the checklist is endless. So it's not, if you do them faster, sometimes nothing changes. So, and if your kids skip a shower for a day, or they eat unhealthy food for a day, it doesn't matter.
Actually, I was what you're saying just brought to mind just something that I heard from Brene Brown. She's my favorite person on these sort of topics. So she was talking about, between relationship, she and her husband, that is it 50-50? And she said, actually, no, that's a load of BS, really. So we don't pull 50-50 all the time. Sometimes, somebody, one partner will have more and another one will have less. So she gave the example that, sometimes you're having a tough day, and she'll tell the husband, today I've only got 30%. And the husband will say, right, I can pull the 70,
Yes.
and it's kind of like a give and take situation. I met Stuart. I don't know him like, so well, but I am also blessed with somebody who's got really, really deep well of just calmness and patience.
Yes.
And the other thing that I'm going through right now is also menopause, right? So that is like the mood thing, the impatience thing, the all of that is just sky high. But what I found out that works really well in is that I actually admit it, to say, today I'm having an emo day.
Mm-mm.
Babe, can you, just pick up the slack a little bit, and he will. And also, I'll tell the kids, I'm menopausal today. Stay out of my way, or pick up your stuff. Or hide them from my sight. Make sure nothing's on the floor, because I've got this thing about like clothes on the floor. So make sure you just hide them under the pillow.
Yes, as long as I don't see them.
Exactly. So I mean, that's kind of like how I, at the moment, I'm managing my moods and stuff like that. And I think being honest with the kids for me have been helpful, because we don't have to be perfect all the time. We don't have to be the strong woman all the time, fixing other people's
Yeah.
problems, right?
Somebody talked about communication, and
Mm.
it's so true. But for example, I had my boss saying to me afterwards, she said, I didn't know what to do because you wouldn't talk to me, because I always, and I realized, yes, you're right. I didn't, because yes, you want to talk, but also it's work. You can't go to your boss and say, "Oh, I'm having burnout." It's not the right place. You can do it with your friends, your family, but not. And but I found it very useful that now, when I see the wave coming, I have been more open and saying, "This is like I'm in a bad spot at the moment," and yes, in a professional way, but said also, how can we work it out? If there's something that you can do or I can do. For example, this week is a very hard week. I'm on holiday from tonight, and I very openly said to my boss, I said, when from tomorrow I need you to do this, and this, because I just can't do it. And she said, yeah, no problem. I said, why didn't I ask before, silly Billy? So So yeah, communication is just when you are in it, you don't even you don't know how to communicate. You don't want to communicate. Even speaking is like I can't speak. It's too much. I just want to stay in bed. I just wanted to stay in
Yeah,
bed. Yeah,
I think that's it, isn't it? It's just the energy. I think
yeah,
burnout is that you're running on empty for everything,
yeah.
mental energy, physical energy, and all of it.
One thing I forced myself to, really violently forced myself to, was to carry on doing exercise.
Mm.
And even if it was just sometimes, even just getting to the gym and doing 10 minutes and then leaving. But even that for me was a great accomplishment. So the following time, then I said, okay, then I can build another 10 minutes and then I can build another minute, then I can do a class. Then, and that, so it's the small habits, those atomic habits. I don't know whether you read the book that you can, those are really, these are the ones that make the difference. Slowly, you can't do it overnight. And exercising for me has been a life, yeah, life, how do you say, oh gosh, spending too much time in Italy, another word, but anyway, I was hanging to sport. And obviously I have spine problems. I can't do very extreme sports, but whatever I could do, like swimming and pilates and even just going for a walk. I know we all know these things, and I knew these things, but forcing myself to do that was the best idea ever.
Okay. So yeah, today's your last day of work and
Yeah.
you've got like stacks of things to do before holidays. I'm going to let you go. But before I go, just maybe three takeaways from from your experience with burnout for our audience.
Don't ignore the signs. They listen to the signs, because you may not realize that actually you have burnout. Um, Speak up, as I said, at work in a different way as you do at home, or with your friends or with your family. And then for me is maintaining that level. I'm not 100% out of it, but I am mostly out of it. And so making sure that you keep listening to the signs and act. It's one of those things where that surely can't happen to me, but it does.
I think it can happen to anyone. And Santi said, it's like boiling a frog, right? So just
Yeah,
slowly, you think you're okay until you're not.
yeah,
And, sometimes that might be too late
yeah,
and you don't want to put any washing in anymore.
yeah, yes.
Okay, with that, thank you so much, Sylvia. I am
Thank
going to let you go shortly, but let me just do this. Um, yes, please, everyone, if you haven't done so, please donate and support my charity. And even if you don't do that, take away from the session today about what to do with when you feel burnout or when you see the signs coming, or look out for the people around you. And if someone looks like they're overwhelmed or they're not showing up in the way they normally do, less energy, ask them why, and just listen and be there. Communication is key, as Sylvia pointed out. So with that, I'm going to let everyone go and enjoy your holiday, Sylvia. I
thank
hope to
you.
see you at an event soon.
Yes, thank you, Bay.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.